I found when I was a 16-year-old, fresh from boarding school, going out into, on the casting couch, I was definitely objectified to an extreme. And when I
was it the way you were made to feel, or the way you were treated?
The way I was made to feel, the way I was exploited, and the kinds of roles and the kinds of things I was expected to do in auditions. I mean, there was one horrific incident where I went back for a second audition. It was a screen test. There were two other people in the room, the director, who I'd seen previously, and the casting director, who was a woman. And the director asked me to sit with my legs apart. The camera was right between, positioned where it could see up my skirt, to put my leg over the arm of the chair, and before I started my dialogue, think about the character that I was supposed to be having the dialogue with, and how it felt to be made love to by this person. And I was thinking, this is so strange. Why would I need to do that? But this is the director. He is talking. There's the casting director.
It must be normal.
It must be normal. I'm 18 years old, and I'm thinking this is obviously something that I was in a protected. There were boundaries. And 3 years later, I was at the Cannes Film Festival, and my husband and I bumped into this rather drunk producer, a British producer, who mentioned the director that I had this audition with, and he looked very sheepish and walked away. And my husband grabbed him later and said, why did you start to say something and then didn't? And it turned out that the director who went on to make the film and who I was auditioning for used to show that video late at night to interested parties at his house. A video of me touching myself with a camera up my skirt.
So you were abused, but at the time it didn't feel like it.
And that was in a professional environment.
For many of the people you're trying to help, that's an inspiring story, because you've obviously done so well from it and you're able to talk about it.
Here's the thing. What does a person do? What does a young woman do in that situation? Obviously, I shouldn't care about getting the job, number one. Absolutely not acceptable behaviour.
You have to realise it's wrong as well, don't you?
Also, as an 18-year-old girl, perhaps the older woman in the room should have put her job on the line and said, I don't condone this behaviour. It's not just about, this is the thing that Stella Creasy was saying today in Parliament Square, it's not about the person that's been abused. It's not just their role to say enough. It's about the people around. How much are the people that witness, how much are they perpetrators of the crime? It's a responsibility that we all need to recognise our part in trying to be aware.
Is that the solution then, would you say, awareness, largely?
I think awareness and having it be made a number one priority. I mean, it's really bizarre when you think that violence against women isn't a number one priority in the world. I've talked about it before as being a kind of species suicide. If your violence towards women, abuse of women, denigration of women, is all of those things are happening to humanity, to our future. And of course there are reasons behind it. I do think often about the perpetrators of the crimes and what's going on through their minds and their bodies as they wreak awful havoc on the bodies of women. And there is obviously there is male trauma at the heart of this, and we need to focus on that also. But I think that what's been really interesting about 1 Billion Rising is it's not just women standing up; it's men standing up too. What happened in Delhi? Thousands of men standing up and looking out for their male community. We need. It's on our watch. We need to literally be keeping watch, and then we will arrest this problem.